feel like I just got a walk-up theme. On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a quick look at the game changer from Barber Electronics. The bonus bumper today was played on said pedal. The original bumper was played on one of these types of pedals, but not either one of these because the original is on his board. But the whole reason we're talking about this today is because this past week, we had David Barber wedged right between us here in studio.
He moved over a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to swallow him up. But so this is all about Barber Electronics tonight, but not about these, but about the game changer.
Right, because the direct drive was probably on my board in that kind of blues jam band that I played in from the time it started to the time it ended, and it lasted a long time. And so that bumper is a song that band recorded. Our bumper is a song that band recorded, and most certainly was played with a Barber Electronics direct drive.
Probably a DM.
Probably Barber Electronics direct drive into a DM2, and then the one sitting right there. And then probably, it could have been my Fender Super amp, which is like a 410 Fender, not a Super, but a little bit later. Or one of the Fenders they had at Right Coast Recording Studios and down towards York, past York.
Yeah, so it's not some stock. It's not some stock music we found. Jason lifted that off from one of the recordings he played on. And I talked him into playing the bonus bumper today. I thought it would be kind of cool that we do that.
But it feels good with it's a Barber.
Yeah.
So definitely go back, check out the interview with David Barber. But we're gonna take this and just kind of run through it a little bit. All right. So this is his game changer pedal. If you watch the interview, he breaks it down. He talks about all the pedals that he had made that kind of led to this incarnation. And that's definitely... And I'm not going to try and do that justice. He did that justice. Go back, watch that video.
Three pedals, I believe.
Yes. Right. 3 pedals in that. There were his LTD pedals. So it's kind of standard overdrive in that we have a volume, a tone, and a gain. Then... an on-off switch. And so the LTD was kind of a lower gain thing than the direct drive. But then at some point, somebody wanted more gain in it. And so, I'm finding... when you said lower gain, I was thinking, all these kind of, transparent gain. Right. Not like that. There's gain in this pedal. And we'll get into that more here in a second. So, we have 2 toggle switches. We have 2 toggle switches.
Wesley Wabbit.
On the left-hand side, we have the 3-way toggle, and PJ is going to tell you...
I'm going to read to you without glasses. Bear with me. So it's a 3-way toggle switch, and actually he starts with the discussing on the right, switched all the way over, the pedal's on, all the way to the right. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to edit some of this, because... The toggle switch on the left is the EQ switch. This switch allows you to go from flat EQ like our LTD SR pedal with the toggle switch to the right to a thick mid EQ like the LTD version 2 toggle in the middle to a setting that sounds flat plus flat toggle switched all the way to the left. The flat sweating. That's me. I'm reading on camera. Hooked on phonics. The flat setting is meant to give you a nearly flat EQ sound, but with added fundamentals to help you keep the guitar in the mix. So maybe the more of the transparent with that very flat EQ. So,
and then we go to the right-hand side, and we have a 2-way toggle.
Right.
Which I don't think we need to read that.
To the right's lower gain. To the left, higher gain.
Right.
Had it on the higher gain setting in the bumper. So there was my very bad reading for the day.
And I used this pedal on Sunday, use it live. And for most of the service had it in the lower gain setting, the jam at the end.
Okay. Kicked it
about halfway through, kicked it to the higher gain setting.
Okay.
One of the things that I love about, before we do any knob turning, any switch turning, one of the things I love about Barber and his pedals is... Well, we can leave it wherever it is.
No, we'll start here. Just in case we... There we go. Click.
Is you can, at least for me, can roll the volume knob back. So wherever the settings are, like I can always roll guitar volumes back and get it to clean up. So
I'm going to hijack this real quick. So you have an always-on pedal, and it's the direct drive, and I get the feeling if this were on your board, this would be an always-on because of what you just showed, and you love the PRS guitars because of the taper of the pot. So my always-on pedal is the delay pedal. But so I don't know, maybe in the comments, we're kind of getting into this, maybe in the comments, do you have an always-on pedal? Because Jason uses Barber all the time, always on, works the volume knob.
Mm-hmm. And when I played that on this weekend, I was able to just leave it on. Just leave it on and use the volume knob and go back and forth. All right, so right now we have it on low gain, all the way to the right.
Yep.
And so I'll play a little bit. Why don't I just play that riff from the bumper? I'll play through that once or twice, then we'll switch it to the middle, switch it to the left. We'll keep it on low gain, then we'll go to the high gain.
Do the same thing again.
Walk the same thing again.
And you can see, not totally at noon, some of them slightly different, but to not twist too many knobs, we're simply going with the toggle switches.
And probably should go on bridge pickup.
Whatever you think,
So... Longest intro ever.
It's really versatile. I feel like I'm talking a lot more in this episode, but it's really versatile. We're in the room. We always talk about what's the difference between the big demo sound, the sit in the mix sound, and all of that. This has so many different settings. Like, I tend to like the middle setting of the EQ, and probably either the high or low gain, probably the high gain. It's big and full, but you have those options where with the flip of toggle, not having to really flip a bunch of the dials, you just click it, and you get a totally different EQ setting that might sit better in the mix. Like,
and we haven't touched any of the knobs.
No, we left them all, not all at noon, because we've heard David doesn't like that.
But what I liked, so when I was playing it over the weekend, I had it in
low gain, middle.
Yeah. And low gain, so when we were doing stuff that would be more like... you know, that kind of big chords, the two chords, the
clarity with a lot of with edge, but really it was tight.
It was nice. Yeah. And then when we got into like kind of the jam and the lead stuff, clicking that over on the high gain, I was at home. So what do you want? Do you want to just kind of run the gain knob for them?
Yeah, and I don't. Well, yeah, sure. Let's. Do we just pick an EQ and just leave it? Like we just leave the EQ in the center. Take the lowest gain, and I'll start with the gain at 0 and work my way up, and then come back down, flip it to the high gain, do the same thing. Okay?
Right, and I'll just play something.
If I can remember what I just said.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with it down the whole way. Low gain.
Do you want to start it, you're on the low gain side, you're going to run it, and then switch to the high gain side? And run
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, well, I think I'm rubbing off on you. That's
Right.
the highest gain with the gain knob.
But it is designed to be a lower gain pedal, so the highest gain on this, but is not still way over the top gain that you would find in other pedals.
It sounds really. I mean, it sounds really contrived. There's not a bad sound in there. Like we took the low and high gain, picked kind of an EQ, and each time we rolled through the gain, I thought they all sounded good. And when you got to the highest gain, it didn't become a fuzz pedal. Like it still was pretty tight, but really had girth to it. It's a great pedal.
I like it.
I don't even know if it's worth turning anything else, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess we could try to find something real quick. How about low gain setting, gain slightly above 12, and we'll turn the tone knob just once. I'll start totally flat, just to see what the range of the tone knob
You
is.
want me to do that same thing?
Yeah, sure.
Done again.
Well, but how many overdrive pedals can you take the tone the whole way up and the gain the whole way up, and it's not unpleasant? Like,
Right.
I'm sitting here in the room with the amp.
On the bridge pickup.
With our new, right.
On the bridge pickup with the tone all the way up.
Right.
Right. You don't do that.
It's fantastic. Like, because you would think that would be too much top end. But, yeah, and it sounded good on the low gain, too. And there wasn't really, again, there wasn't a bad sound the whole way that you went through. And that was still just picking just one of the EQ settings. So there's still more to be twisted and turned on that, but we want to keep this less than our conversation with David.
So when he came over, he left the gain changer and the newest version of the tone press.
The compressor, yep.
He took the Exacta Fuzz, the direct drive,
Version
and the
Linden bass EQ.
Right, with him.
Yeah.
Which
the direct drive version 4 was his personal one.
Right. And so we are going to be getting one of those because I'm going to buy one of those. We're going to hopefully get one of the Exactas from him to try out, which I'm afraid to do because
buy them all.
I'm already ready to buy this one.
We're ready to buy the Game Changer, the direct drive version 4, which is in a smaller enclosure like this. And the Exacta is the same enclosure. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah, seriously, because he's been my favorite pedal builder for.
Did I mention he was sitting right here?
Right, it's time for me to upgrade.
Sure.
So we have new content coming out every Wednesday, or pretty much every Wednesday and Saturday. Sometimes there's bonus days at noon. Those are premieres. We're there hanging out typically to watch them along with you. We would love for you to join us for that. In order to do that, if you can click subscribe, hit the notification buttons, you'll get notifications when those videos are going live. We're also posting content over on Instagram and Facebook and just giving you some previews of what's coming up and what's happening, pictures of pedals that are coming in. We're about to wrap up that Leslie Sound series at the filming of this video right here. Or at least filming it, probably not releasing it. But we're getting a whole bunch of new pedals in for the next series, and we've been posting some of those pictures if you'd like to find out what that series is going to be about. Interview series, make sure to check out the David Barber interview. Great stuff. Part 1 is out. Part 2 is coming out soon, depending on when this is released. And we might have a few golden nuggets left over that will come out after that. So with that,
I'm PJ, on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.